Good morning. It's supposed to be another great day today. Weather upper 60s. Get out and enjoy it.
Yeah, well, possible some sprinkles later, right?
And maybe some severe weather this evening, but enjoy it.
Hey, Until then,
it's going to be warmer.
Soak it up, because then you're telling us there's going to be snow
Yes.
this weekend and next week. We don't need to talk about that. Let's talk about our hockey team, because deadline's passed. Red Wings went out and made a move, added Justin Faulk on the blue line. Joining us to talk about that and more, it's the general manager, Steve Yzerman. Steve, good morning.
Morning, gentlemen. How are you guys?
Good. Let's start with Faulk. Why was this the right player, and why was this the right time to trade a first-round pick plus to do that?
We speaking with our coaching staff on what they felt we needed, where our priorities as far as improving the team were, and their feeling was, although pretty darn happy with our D-core, we were asking a lot for Axel Sandin Pellikka to play in that top four spot for in his first year, asking a lot, and felt like if we could bring in some reinforcement for that position. So Justin Faulk kind of fits that, a right-hand shot. He's a veteran, been in the league a long time. That role prior to that in Carolina. So, we felt he was the best fit actually for the players available. Giving up a first-round pick is hard at any time. We still are. If you look at the Colorados and Tampa's, the teams at the top of the standings that are, going for it and perennial are giving up all their prospects and picks at a shot at the cup. They're doing that. We're not, at that stage, although you get in the playoffs, anything can happen. But the reality is, if you want to get really, I want to say a top 4D or a top 9 forward, even fourth line players went for first round picks at the deadline and have in the past. So if you want to get a player, it costs a lot. And we felt at this time, Chris Draper and the amateur staff have done a very good job. We've got a lot of prospects in our system that will join the team in a year or two that we could afford at this stage to put our first round pick in place.
You mentioned on Friday that you were calling about D-man and also forwards. Did it come down to price, or did you feel like the blue line was the bigger need?
Yeah, the blue line was the bigger need. Had we not done that, we potentially would have looked at doing something on the front end, maybe bigger than just bigger as far as involving more assets. But we're happy to. We think we got good value in acquiring David Perron for a fourth-round pick and shortly. But ultimately, there weren't a lot of high-end forwards available, and the cost for them, it was another first-round pick, another prospect, and potentially another draft pick. So we felt like we could just keep wheeling out all of our prospects and all of our first-round picks at this stage. So we identified the D-man. What we also did like about having was Justin. He has another year on his contract, so this just wasn't an outright rental. We'll see how the year plays out, and between now and the end of next season, we can, decide if we'd like to re-sign Justin and keep him in the organization.
You may have answered this. You dropped out for just a second, but in acquiring Perron, looking at the medicals, talking to him, when do you anticipate that he'll be ready?
I think conservatively, he should. And this is conservative. It could be sooner, but we expect him to be back next Thursday. I think it is, against Montreal.
That's great news.
We play Tuesday at home against Calgary. That might be pushing it a little bit, but we expect him to be cleared. He's in the later stages of the rehab. His procedure is healed. It's just getting him up to the standards, I guess, or the baselines for his strength and flexibility, things like that, to prevent any type of further injury, I guess. So to answer your question, we think pretty conservatively the Canadiens game potentially potentially the Flames game on.
Before the Olympic break, we talked to Todd McClellan, and he had mentioned at that time that he felt like you guys had done enough to be able to add at the deadline. Dylan Larkin made comments after last season about the momentum and guys being down. When you hear things like that, does that weigh into your thought process at all, giving you a little bit of motivation to make a move at the deadline?
Yeah, I think it weighs in a little bit. It has to. You can't be completely tone deaf to the people around you. And what it came down to really is that we're at the deadline. We're sitting there as one of the teams in a playoff spot, in a good spot. We're right in the mix there within our division, within the conference, and at that point, it's like, okay, we do have a need. Can we fill that need? We felt we could fill that need. Are we prepared to give up the assets to do it? And obviously, we decided that it was worth it this year. This isn't something we can do every year. I don't think no team can do it every year, but we'll deal with it moving forward to see where we are at and what our needs were. But again, our team has played pretty well all year. They played pretty well. The young guys have stepped up. Our veterans have been excellent. So we just felt like, here we are. Let's add, and in particular, add at least one of the players. I mean, Justin's under contract for next year. That it isn't purely a rental, and it'll help us moving not only this year but next year as well.
Talking to Steve Yzerman, Red Wings general manager. You've referenced the playoffs. You guys are in the playoffs right now. What's your confidence level that this team can do what you haven't the last couple years and finish the job and have playoff hockey back at Little Caesars, for the first time at Little Caesars Arena, but back in Detroit?
Well, I think we're a deeper team. I think, Cam Talbot's done a really good job all year. John Gibson, excuse me. Cam is my son-in-law. John is he's played really well and kind of taken over that starting role and been a real difference maker. I say our blue line has been really good with the addition of Justin Faulk. I think it improves us. Losing Dylan here temporarily it makes the challenge a little bit harder. But I just think we're a deeper team. And not as reliant, as winning games on the power play, as reliant just winning, maybe with one line scoring. I think we're a little bit more balanced. I think we're a little deeper, and our goaltending is better. And having said that, we're not a lock to get in by any means.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of metrics. There's a lot of stats that you guys are going to look at, and as fans, without having all the information that you do, one of the things that we look at is goal differential. Is it sustainable throughout the rest of the year? And you look at some of the other teams, Buffalo's a plus 32, Tampa's a plus 51. You guys are a minus 1. Is there any concern that water will find its level and that's going to be something that affects you down the run?
Yeah, it's a stat that we look at too. It's not one. It doesn't take a rocket scientist or all the analytics, the data engineers and whatnot to point that one out. It is a simple, obvious stat out there, and teams do make the playoffs around minus, in the low minuses. It does happen, but it is a concern. And for us, we've had stretches here. We've come back from road trips, and we're in that plus 4, 5, 6, and we're trending in the right direction. And even just the last homestand, we had just a 2-game homestand where we ended up losing both games. Simply puts us back in the minus. So yeah, there's it's not a hard and fast, but that is an indicator. The teams that are in the plus are they're simply more successful, and it's a more 5-on-5. But we're here. We're at in a playoff spot. We just kind of keep grinding, and each game try to get points out of it. And if you win more games, you're going to be in the plus. It's as simple as that. So, but that is a very relevant stat.
Could you give us an update on Larkin as best you guys know? I know it's day to day. See, he's on the road trip, but just for the fans, where is he at in terms of his injury and recovery time?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a moving target. Still, kind of getting a feel for how he feels from, day one of the injury, day two, day three. So he won't play. He won't play tonight. I've kind of, and the way we've done things is, Todd obviously speaks with the media daily and gives injury updates daily. I think here at some point here in the next few days, we'll have a more clear picture of a potential return date for him and be able to give everyone, a better idea of exactly how long we anticipate him being out. And I think that's fair, more fair for Dylan, more fair for Todd, and all of our fan base that's wondering, hey, what's going on? So it's just been a bit of a moving target till we the doctors can get a feel for where he's at, how he feels, and get a better idea for how long he's going to be out here.
Steve, a question, I guess a curiosity. We get calls and we talk to fans. The Quinn Hughes stuff, we only know what was reported. Were you guys in on him? How close was a potential deal with Quinn Hughes?
Quinn is, as you know, is a member of the Minnesota Wild, so I really can't comment on players on other teams. All I would tell you is, when we talk around the league with every team, and when there is a potential fit or a potential need, we reach out to all the teams. So obviously we were very aware that he was available, and he's a great player. So that's
all right. I gotcha.
Every team in the league had interest in Quinn Hughes. Like, some were better fits than others. Some had the assets, so some were in there. How close we were, I don't really know. Vancouver knows how close any team was because they know what their options were.
And on this, you were the GM of Team Canada in 2010 for the Crosby Golden Goal. How did it feel watching this Olympics this time around, and the fact that Team USA has made some pretty significant strides? Watching it as a noted Canadian hockey royalty member, how did you take in that gold medal game?
Well, I thought it was an incredible hockey game. I thought the whole tournament was amazing. I really, really enjoyed watching it. It was great for our league and great for the sport. And the women's tournament as well was excellent. It's USA hockey. I had my first experience playing internationally for Canada at the professional or the senior level in 1984, and to see today the U.S. team, the World Championships, if I remember correctly, last spring, Olympic gold medal. Now you look around the league at top players in the league in the U.S. Like, the game in the United States has grown so much to be dominant. How did I watched with mixed emotions, honestly. When Sweden played, I was cheering for Lucas. When the U.S. was playing, I was cheering for Dylan. I'm happy that he won. Canada lost. I got a lot of friends in Hockey Canada and on that staff, coaching and management. So a little bit mixed emotions, but I really, really enjoyed it. And it was great for our sport and really great for our league, in my opinion.
Does it bug you as a Canadian? Like, this is your game, and the U.S. comes in and takes gold.
Well, I'm an American citizen now, so I couldn't lose, so I claim American citizenship today, and Canada wins in 2030 or whenever the next one is. I'm going to pull out my Canadian passport, so I'm in a good position.
He's Steve Yzerman. Thanks, Steve.
My pleasure, guys. Thanks for your time.
It's 97.1.